already. Being down 0-3, I don't want to come out and just start jacking up crazy shots and making everything look worse than what it is.
Well, throughout the course of the season, Dennis Scott benefited by all the double teaming on Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. He would generally get open for those three-point shots. It has not happened in this series.
Another alert play by the Magic. They've been swarming defensively here at the start. They lead 17-8. Anthony Bowie blocked. Jordan got a piece of it, but contact right there. And it's Orlando 19, Chicago 8.
Even the picks are better for Orlando. Shaquille O'Neal has set a couple of very good ones on pick and rolls. And earlier we saw John Koncak almost level Michael Jordan near midcourt.
Illegal defense called for the first time. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, during that last timeout, Phil Jackson very calmly reminding his team that they expected this kind of intensity, the crowd behind them and everything, but said that with their experience, they should be able to weather the storm. A lot of ball game left. They just got to start chipping away at it. Marv?
All right, thank you, Ahmad. Ron Harper helping to chip away at it with a three. Harper with 5 points, and it's the Magic by 8, just under 5 minutes remaining.
Well, Ron Harper's shooting has been very poor in this series, but his defense has been exceptional.
Shaquille trying the spin move and was shoved by Longley. So Luke committing his second.
Well, most of this series, Shaq has stayed going to the middle against Luke Longley and has a lot of success on the spin to the baseline against Wennington. He figured I might as well try it on somebody else. And now Phil Jackson's going to come with Kukoc and go small to try to reverse the momentum of this ballgame.
Luke Longley will sit down after collecting his second foul. Substitution for Orlando, Donald Royal checking in. And John Koncak hears it from the crowd. It's been a gallant effort by John Koncak, who was a question mark for both games 3 and today's game 4 because of the knee problem. Kukoc called for the hold, and that is team foul number 4 on the Bulls. Orlando with 3.
Well, Penny Hardaway, who has averaged just 3 assists a game in the 3 games played so far, already has 3 today.
Hopper off the board. Has it poked away, but a foul. Reach-in call on Royal. Orlando very aggressive defensively, showing the passion and the heart that they seem to lack in game 3.
And when you start a game out, Marv, with that kind of aggression, and if you can keep it up for long periods, you'll get the benefit of most calls from the referees. But if you start out sluggishly, not moving your feet, not getting after people, not bumping, and then try to do it later in the game, you will not get the benefit of the calls.
Fan of defense from the crowd. Jordan working on Bowie. Shot clock at 5. Pippen for 3. Well, Scottie Pippen, who was having his difficulties from three-point range, has certainly been able to find the touch at 3 of 4 from downtown on Saturday. 19-14, Orlando. Hardaway trying to set up O'Neal. Pass, but Shaquille made the recovery. And it's the Magic 21 and the Bulls 14. Shaquille O'Neal with 10 points in this first quarter.
Well, Penny Hardaway felt pressure. They got a pressure release. He just drove through everybody, was going to attack that rim, and finally the dish off to Shaq.
Jordan tried to go glass, and he was hacked by Bowie.
Well, nothing tentative about the attack at all at either end of the floor for Orlando so far this afternoon. Penny getting into the middle of the lane. Could have been a foul on Rodman as he moved his feet and stepped over and forced the bump, but Shaq able to dig out that loose ball and finish.
Michael Jordan, who had difficulty at the foul line in unusual fashion on Saturday, 6 of 11 at the line. Both clubs had problems. Chicago 18 for 31, Orlando 10 of 24. How about the two teams combining, missing the 5 technical fouls that were attempted?
It was a full moon the other day.
21-16, Orlando. 3.5 to go in this first quarter. Miscommunication between Bowie and Hardaway.
Penny felt he was grabbed, but does a wise thing there, doesn't argue with the official. something that was a problem for him on Saturday.
Bulls with 6 turnovers for the Magic, their second. Rodman gets inside. Air ball on the finger roll. And Dennis hears it from the crowd.
He didn't know where he was on the floor, never located the rim.
Scott. Rebound punched aside by O'Neal and out of bounds. Brooks Thompson getting set to check in. Now being waved on, replacing Anthony Bowie. Brian Hill working with a short bench, although he does have Brian Shaw available, despite the neck problem. He sat out on Saturday. Well, this has been the difference in this first quarter.
And it's been the other way around in the first 3 games in this series, but Orlando definitely the most aggressive team on the floor at this moment.
Rodman rebounded by Hardaway. Now from Orlando's point of view, although Dennis Rodman has certainly picked it up offensively, they do not mind seeing Rodman take those kind of shots. He'll set the pick. Scott eluding Pippen. Scott. Thompson able to keep it alive, and 1 and 2 by Pippen. Well, that bailed out. The Magic with the shot clock rolling down. Timeout taken by Chicago. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to Orlando. I'm Jim Gray. I'm now joined by Leonard Armato. He is the agent for Shaquille O'Neal. We saw the interview with Shaquille during the pregame show in which he said this is his first option to stay in Orlando. Leonard, there was also some talk about Brian Hill. First, let's ask you about Shaquille O'Neal. Will he stay here in Orlando or go to Los Angeles?
Well, first of all, I just want to let Peter Vesey know that the reason I didn't return his call this week because I knew he was going to try to stir up all this controversy.
Well, now that he has done that, will Shaq stay?
Well, Shaq and I have a pact that during the playoffs we don't have any discussion substantively about where he'll be next year. As he said, Orlando is definitely his first choice. But, you know, after the season's over, we've got to evaluate all of his options.
Now, Chuck Daly's name has been mentioned. Is it more appealing to Shaquille O'Neal to have Chuck Daly here as coach? Would it be more appealing for him to stay here?
Well, it's difficult to say. Chuck Daly's one of the greatest coaches of all time, but Brian Hill's doing a great job this quarter.
This quarter. What about Brian Hill and his relationship with Shaquille?
You know, Shaquille said, and I think it goes for me too, Brian's the coach, Shaquille's the player, and that's the way it stands. Until anything changes, that's the way it stands.
But you would not be opposed to having another coach, specifically Chuck Daly?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that after the season's over, a coach as well as all the other factors will be one of the considerations.
Thank you very much, Len. Try to enjoy the game now that you've been grilled. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. Not that Brian Hill will be concerned with Leonard Armato. See Rich DeVos, the chairman of the Orlando Magic. Not that he'd be concerned with a vote of confidence from Leonard Armato, but that was not exactly a ringing endorsement that Brian is doing a fine job in the first quarter.
And by the way, that man, Rich DeVos, one of Brian Hill's biggest supporters and fans. And I'm sure he will have a lot to say with whatever goes on with this organization come the offseason.
2.5 remaining in the first quarter, and the Magic up 22-16. And a foul is called as Kukoc cut to the lane. He was held by Scott. For Dennis Scott, his second. And now Orlando over the limit. So Tony Kukoc, who has been quiet during the course of the playoffs, on the line. Kukoc during the regular season just killed the Magic. Tony Kukoc coming back from the lower back injury that put him out of the Knicks series. Missed the final 3 games of that series. Played 20 minutes here on Saturday. Hit only 1 of 5 from the field. So Chicago has been able to cut into that 11-point deficit. It is now a 4-point Orlando lead. Thompson guarded by Kerr, who just came on. Hardaway very active in this first quarter. Hardaway already with 4 assists. He had just 3 in 46 minutes in game 3.
We have not seen him posting up a lot in this series, something he does a lot against every other team, but Pippen a little taller, he's been a little reluctant to do it.
Now Dennis Scott is guarding Michael Jordan, who shoots over him and hits from downtown. Jordan is 4 for 4.